When I first met Emma, I thought she was the kind of person who valued honesty above all else. She had this way of looking straight into your eyes, as if daring you to lie, and I admired that. For almost a year, our relationship had been filled with laughter, late-night talks, and dreams about the future. At least that's what I believed. But one evening, everything I thought I knew came crashing down with a single text message. I was sitting at home finishing up some work on my laptop when my phone buzzed. I expected something sweet, maybe her usual, "Miss you," or "What are you doing?" But instead, her message read, "I'm staying at my ex's tonight. Deal with it." At first, I thought it was a joke, some twisted attempt at humor. I stared at the screen for a long moment, hoping another message would follow to explain it. Nothing came. My heart sank. There was no confusion in her words, no explanation. It was as clear as it could be. She was telling me, not asking me, that she was going back to someone she had sworn she was done with. I felt a wave of anger rise in me. But then something inside me shifted. I realized I didn't need to beg or argue. I simply replied with, "Okay." The truth is that one word wasn't resignation. It was clarity. I stood up, walked over to the closet where her things were kept, and pulled out a suitcase. I began packing everything that belonged to her. Her clothes, her shoes, even the little trinkets she'd scattered around my apartment. Every item I folded neatly felt like I was folding away a lie I had been living under. As I packed, I thought about the countless red flags I had ignored. The nights she came home late with flimsy excuses, the sudden bursts of defensiveness when I asked harmless questions, and the way she sometimes seemed distant even when sitting right beside me. My gut had whispered doubts for months, but I silenced it because I wanted to believe in her. By the time I was done, her suitcase was zipped up and waiting by the door. I sat down on the couch, staring at it. For the first time in months, I felt oddly calm. The storm had already hit. I had nothing left to lose. If she wanted to run back to her ex, then she could do so without leaving pieces of herself behind in my life. An hour later, she finally came home. She looked surprised to see the suitcase, as if she didn't expect me to take her words seriously. "What's this?" she asked, her voice dripping with a mix of annoyance and guilt. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I simply said, "You said you're staying at your ex's. I thought I'd make it easier for you." Her face shifted through a dozen emotions. Shock, anger, regret. But I didn't flinch. I wasn't going to play her game anymore. She tried to argue, saying I was overreacting, that it didn't mean anything. But I had already made my decision. Trust once shattered doesn't rebuild itself just because someone says the right words. In the end, she grabbed her suitcase with trembling hands and left without another word. The sound of the door closing behind her was like the final note of a song I no longer wanted to hear. My apartment felt quiet, almost too quiet. But beneath that silence was relief. The days that followed weren't easy. There were moments when I missed her laugh or when I reached for my phone expecting her name to pop up. But every time I remembered that text message, I knew I had done the right thing. Love should never be built on ultimatums or betrayals. It should be built on respect. People often think heartbreak comes from losing someone. But in my case, heartbreak came from realizing the person I thought I loved had never truly valued me. And strangely, that realization gave me strength. I wasn't just losing her. I was gaining myself back. Looking back now, I don't regret the okay I sent. It wasn't the end of my world. It was the beginning of a better one. Sometimes the simplest responses carry the loudest truth.